Hello, this is TurboDog702 for the Castlevania Lords of Shadow Any Percent New Game Plus tutorial. In this section of the tutorial, we will be taking a look at the basic sub-weapons that you're going to be using inside of the run. There's going to be a larger focus on the general purpose of these, but we will be touching very lightly on some of the sequence-breaking potentials of these weapons. Now first we have the silver daggers, which are a fairly basic weapon inside of the game. As you can see, they can be thrown in any direction you want to using the analog stick. If you activate the shadow magic power, you'll begin throwing explosive daggers as a result. These do a lot more damage, but they do not have a splash effect. Another thing that you can do is if you hold the dagger button, you can actually throw an arc of daggers about. This costs 5 daggers. Its application is fairly limited, but it can be used to wipe out large groups of enemies if that is your desired application. The daggers are also extremely effective at being able to deal with lichens. Here we see footage of single daggers being used in order to kill off entire lesser lycanthropes. In this section, we can see that daggers are also very effective when fighting against imps. A charged up shadow dagger can actually kill an imp in a single attack, and silver daggers can kill them in a pair. Here we are seeing the effectiveness of fairies when used against many different types of enemies. One of their main uses and intended uses in the game is to provide a distraction for you to be able to fight off more problematic enemies. This includes the giant spiders like I'm fighting here, but also includes trolls and other large enemies as well. Experiment to find other uses for these fairies, as they are one of the most versatile tools combatively and to find skips that are unintended in the game. Fairies also have a very interesting use. Note inside of this footage how I try to operate the crank, but the vampires make me very unable to do so as they keep attacking me when I try to activate. Even after luring away and attempting to hit the switch again, it is extremely unlikely that I would be able to have enough time to operate the switch. However, the fairies help here. They can be used as a distraction in order for the vampires to try and fight the fairies rather than interrupt my cranking QTE. This is used in a few places inside of the run and can be used very effectively in others as well. Here's another example of the fairies in practice. In this section, I'm meant to pull down a large cliff face in order to gain a foothold to a local grapple point. However, with these werewolves attacking me, there's just no possibility of me being able to do that without engaging them. Or is there? Go back a few seconds, release some fairies to distract them, and it becomes a simple matter to be able to pull down the rock structure and continue on my way using the repel point. Now we're going to talk about dark crystals. The first thing to note about dark crystals is that you can skip the cutscene associated with them, making them much faster than normal. Dark crystals are one of the strongest normal attacks inside of the game and are extremely effective against many different opponents. Here we're seeing a large group of enemies, including a large knight inside of the castle, destroyed in a single dark crystal use. They're also often very, very effective when fighting bosses, particularly the titans, which allow their glyphs to be broken with a single attack. The main downside to crystals is that it takes a while to develop them, as you need a number of pieces to complete a crystal. Use them sparingly if you are doing a New Game Plus run, but not full power. The next sub-weapon to talk about is probably the most important inside of speedrunning. It's the holy water. The holy water can be thrown around you and covers a massive amount of area, and does a lot of damage to many different enemies. Another noticeable property of it is it allows you to gain some height during jumps, which will be relevant when we start talking about high jumping. You can throw a holy water while activating light magic to create a shield around yourself. This shield blocks a number of attacks and can stop enemies from really ganging up on you, although hopefully you won't be put in any position where you'll need to use it. It cannot be stressed just how powerful of a tool holy water is in gaining height during high jumps, and it must be budgeted appropriately as such. Take care when budgeting out holy water and thinking about potential places to farm holy water if you choose to do a non-full power run. Here we're seeing an example of holy water used to great effect for its AoE properties against the imps at the end of Dark Dungeon. Notice that even though the Holy Water animation only hits the ground, it does hit vertically as well oftentimes. You can even use it in air in order to cover the ground below you. Here we're seeing the effectiveness of Holy Water on its primary antagonist, vampires. This is probably one of the best combat uses of Holy Water. A single Holy Water will bring a vampire in range to be grab killed, and a second one will finish him off. This has been TurboDog702 for the Castlevania Lords of Shadow Any Percent New Game Plus speedrun. Stay tuned for more general mechanics and the speedrun to follow. Thank you.